In this video, I will demonstrate that the Islamic conception of Allah's forgiveness is incoherent. In its infancy in the Quran and developed more rigorously through the tafsir, hadith, and codified in the obligatory beliefs of sacred Islamic law, the bridge over hell is well attested in Islamic eschatology. Yet, while Imams readily acknowledge this in my discussions with them, lesser-informed Muslims, out of a desire to reject this gruesome belief, accuse me of lying, fabricating, and not considering the context. Thus, for their benefit, I will briefly trace this doctrine through the most authoritative sources. Surah 1968 through 71, "So by your Lord we will surely gather them, and the devils. Then we will bring them to be present around hell upon their knees. Then we will surely extract from every sect those of them who were worst against the most merciful in insolence. This is upon your Lord an inevitability decreed. It is unclear whether only disbelievers or all men will be required to pass through or be extracted from the flames." So we turn to the Tafsir Ibn Abbas. "There is not one of you but shall approach it. There is not a single one of you to the exclusion of prophets and messengers, save that he will enter it," i.e. hell. Ibn Kathir states, "When all of the creatures passed over the hellfire, and those disbelievers and the disobedient people who are destined to fall into it because of their disobedience, Allah will save the believers and the righteous people from it because of their deeds. Therefore their passing over the bridge and their speed will be based upon their deeds that they did in this life. Then the believers who performed major sins will be allowed intercession. Thus a large number of the sinners will be allowed to come out of hell. The fire will have devoured much of their bodies except the places of prostration on their faces." Kathir clarifies, "The passing of the Muslims means their passing over a bridge, but the passing of the idolaters over the hellfire refers to their admission to the fire." Ibn Abbas and Ibn Kathir indicate that everyone will pass through the flames in some way before intercession is allowed. Thus, some scholars conclude that even Muslims will spend time in the flames of hell. In Reliance of the Traveler, this is an obligatory belief. Section V 2.7 states, "It is obligatory to hold that true believers in the oneness of Allah will be taken out of hell after having paid for their sins." Muhammad comments in Bukhari 1251, "The Prophet said, 'No Muslim whose 3 children died will go to the fire except for Allah's oath. Everyone has to pass over the bridge above the lake of fire.'" So what does the big picture look like? Bukhari 806 describes at length the bridge over hell. "Allah will call them, and As-Sirat, a bridge, will be laid across hell, and I, Muhammad, shall be the first amongst the apostles to cross it with my followers. Nobody except the apostles will then be able to speak, and they will be saying then, 'O Allah, save us! O Allah, save us!' There will be hooks like the thorns of Sidon in hell. Nobody except Allah knows their greatness and size, and these will entangle the people according to their deeds. Some of them will fall and stay in hell forever. Others will receive punishment, torn into small pieces, and will get out of hell, till when Allah intends mercy on whomever He likes amongst the people of hell, He will order the angels to take out of hell those who worshipped none but Him alone. The angels will take them out by recognizing them from the traces of prostrations. At the time they will come out of the fire as mere skeletons." Sahih al-Bukhari 2440, "When the believers pass safely over the bridge across hell, they will be stopped at a bridge in between hell and paradise, where they will retaliate upon each other for the injustices done among them in the world, and when they get purified of all their sins, they will be admitted into paradise." In an attempt to systematize the voluminous and potentially conflicting data, I will review what seems to be relatively undisputed. There will be a bridge laced with massive thorns over the flames of hell. Muhammad, along with the rest of the prophets, will be first to cross, shouting for the help of Allah as they go. Many, if not all, who believe in the oneness of Allah will burn in the flames as they cross, and will be distinguished only by the marks of prostration, which will not be burnt. The thorns will be as punishment, though some torn in pieces by them will ultimately escape hell. Again, Bukhari 2440 notes astoundingly, "When the believers pass safely over the bridge across hell, they will retaliate upon each other for the injustices done among them in the world. This is a means of purifying of their sins." In context, safely passing over the bridge does not preclude significant burns by the fire and tearing by the thorns. One thing conspicuously absent from this narrative is the forgiveness of Allah, championed in so many ayat in the Quran. Allah requires believers to burn in the flames down to mere skeletons, save for their prostration marks. He requires them to cross the bridge laced with thorns at a rate proportional to their sin. He requires them to purify themselves by retaliating upon each other. Thus, Muslims will pay their dues for their sins so they may be purified before entering paradise. In Islamic eschatology, sin is present at every step of the way. The forgiveness of Allah is found wanting.